Hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ahmad Al-Qadi. I'm an advocacy officer with the National Council of Canadian Muslims. Every day, our staff has been on the phone trying to assist Canadians evacuating from Gaza. Every day, we have heard their incredibly difficult stories. We've heard stories of Canadians forced to make the impossible decision to leave parents and siblings behind in a war zone because they don't have citizenship. We hear from Canadians daily who cannot get their family members out. For days, we've asked the government to step up and assist to make sure that Canadians can get their family out and to safety. And today, we'd like to thank Minister Miller and his staff for developing these special measures that we know will help save the lives of innocents. While we welcome today's announcement, we recognize that for some Canadians, it's been a very late announcement. Many Canadians have been forced to watch helplessly from a television screen as their families flee indiscriminate bombing. Many Canadians have been hoping that their loved ones are only amongst the sick, the starving, or the displaced, and not amongst the injured or the dead. Many Canadians have been praying that no more of their family members are murdered or slaughtered in the carnage that has gripped the civilian population for over 2 months. And many Canadians have lost their family members while waiting. While we continue to work with the government, we also want to make it clear here today, as we have said before publicly, that the status quo solution is not acceptable. The conditions that are causing people to flee are intolerable, and there must be a solution to end the violence that is taking the lives of so many innocent civilians and will continue to take the lives of so many innocent civilians, including Canadians and their families. Right now, it is of utmost importance that Canada supports its citizens and permanent residents and their families to help get them to safety. And that is why we believe that today's announcement is the right one. Today we're joined by many Canadians who represent families who have family members, brothers, sisters, parents in Gaza. And today we have Israa Al Saafin who will speak on their behalf.
Hello, my name is Israa Al Saafin. As many knows, on October 13, I lost my brother. He was killed while evacuating with his baby and his wife from the north of Gaza to the south, as instructed by the Israeli forces. Now, my nephew and his wife are under the care of my father. They're all together displaced into Rafah, the southern point of Gaza Strip. And the priority of me and my family here is to bring everybody into safety. My nephew is my responsibility. My dad has only 3 grandchildren. 2 of them are my kids here, and the only kid for my brother, which is in Gaza. I wish and I hope that I will be soon having them joining me here in Canada into safety. I'm not the only person with this issue. A lot of Canadians here in Canada living every day with the pain and the worrying about their families. And nobody deserves to live this emotions and feelings, and nobody wants to worry every day to death about their family being fed. Are they safe? Is the bombing happening right now close to them or not? My request is that I'm not going to accept less than my family come here, and everybody of the Palestinian Canadians here are having the same request. We want our family to join us into safety and as soon as possible. Thank you.
We can take some questions.
CTV News. Just a question for the National Council. Can you provide us any sort of numbers of how many people you're getting calls from every day regarding their families in Gaza?
Hundreds.
I have a number. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry to interrupt. We have a WhatsApp group that we put all together the people, the Canadian Palestinians that have families in Gaza, around 800 to 900 members of that WhatsApp group. Everyone have a story. Everyone have a family member there. So I think that's the number that I can give you an estimate about.
So you've obviously welcomed this announcement, but there's still a question of the Rafah crossing and on getting these people across. Can you just provide us some details of the situation is like for your family on the ground right now. What are the conditions, and how do you suppose they'll eventually be able to cross that border?
Well, I have no clue because currently the borders are closed only for people with foreign passport. For example, a Canadian citizen that's stuck there cannot cross the borders. The big issue for me is to get them crossing that borders because I don't know if that's going to be a steps that the Canadian will help, the government will help them crossing by putting their names on the borders list for the people that are eligible to cross into Egypt to continue their paperwork. That's what I hope for. My family now is in Rafah in a storage room. I got a message from my sister indicating that they looked for hours to find a food for my nephew. And as she indicated that we are all adults, we can suck it up and stay without food for a day or two, but this is a baby and I can't wait for more news like that.
If I can just ask, hi, I'm Rafi Bujikanian with CBC. The minister himself admitted in his news conference just now that they have no assurances from Israel that people will be able to come over once they're put on the list. And we know Canadian citizens have had a hard time doing that. How much hope do you have that today's announcement will actually lead to something concrete given this reality?
It's a hard question. You can go ahead, Ahmad.
Yeah, it's Ahmad. So just to elaborate on both questions. So just to put things into perspective, that there are people stuck in the north side, and you remember initially during the beginning of the war, they were asking people to flee south, but there's still about 700 to 800,000 people already in the north. Some of them are my aunt, her daughters, which are very heavily injured due to a bomb that went beside them, and they were moved out of the rubble. So we don't want to forget that even the people in the north side are not able to flee to the south because everything is closed there. So we have people or families that are in the north side in Gaza City, a lot of people in Deir al-Balah, Khan Yunis, and Rafah. So they're all over. It's not just Rafah. So what we ask is, of course, the government, because they have a lot of ties with Israel, is for them to push for ceasefire, because without that, it's very dangerous for anyone to go and cross, right? So without these measures and pressure, it will be very difficult for anyone. They can't even go get their groceries without very heavy risk. So we hope for the government to push on that then.
Can I ask, for either of you, what do you make of these measures being announced today being temporary and not permanent in nature?
Yeah, so a lot of my cousins and which their aunts are here, they at least for now they want to flee mainly to for the safety of themselves and their children, their mothers, fathers. So yeah, if we understand that it's temporary, and it will still be very helpful for them, because at least the main thing right now is the safety of the people, of the children. Everything is done randomly now, and shelling and bombing is just random. So people are just waiting for their turn. So that will really help them take care of their children. Hopefully, within months to years, if this conflict ends, people will at the end want to go back to their homes. So definitely, people like it there, but the situation is very bad there.
Any chance that someone speaks French? No way. No. Okay. So I have my question in English. I just want to talk also about the guarantee. The minister said he doesn't have any guarantee, and he expect this temporary visa to be up and running on January 9. Is it too long, or is it not enough, or how would you describe this timeline?
So, as I understand from your question, that the temporary visa processing gonna start only in January 9? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, it's a long time for us. And every second pass, it's a long time for us, because currently time is equal bombing, equal bloodshed, equal killing. So for us, the main reason that we're here, that because we worry about our families. So we want it to be as soon as possible, as we can get them to safety as soon as possible. And that's the main thing for us. Every day counts. Every day, it's a lot of families here. They're like, our families are alive because of luck, because of what's happening. It's just a matter of luck. If you are lucky enough, the bombing is not beside you. It's beside someone somewhere else. So for us, it's as soon as possible.
I'm wondering what impact this will have given the conditions right now in terms of getting out, the logistics that we're seeing at Rafah. What's going to be the impact of today's change given the tight controls that we're seeing on the ground?
Sorry, I did not follow the question. I'm sorry.
Sure. So my colleague is asking about what is going to be the actual material impact, because there's tight controls in Gaza at the border about who can actually get out, about what kind of permits are needed. And I guess I'm just wondering what is going to be the impact with today's change, just given the restrictions that we're seeing on the ground.
So I think other countries did it, and Australia, I know European countries, Russia, they evacuated their citizens immediately from Gaza through the borders. So I'm not a political a politician person, but what I understand is if Canada put their names there as them to be processed visa, they should be fine, because if people travel and come back and they have nothing on them, like security clearance and stuff like that, it should be fine and they should be able to leave. So what are we hoping is that we see their names on the borders, so that's going to be kind of a chance for them to leave.
Essentially, we can't really speak to the logistics of how this will happen. We're happy and we welcome the announcement from the government in announcing these special measures, and we hope and will work with the government to ensure that these special measures are followed through in any way that is feasible to ensure that Palestinians, Gazans, are able to come back to their families here in Canada.
And I was also just wondering, the situation in Gaza, it's been like this since October 7th. What do you make of the government launching this program now?
It means we save as, yeah. It means that we can save as many lives as we can, because like every family has lost many members, okay? And the leftover family there, we just need to save them, with the kids and the children and the women who has nothing to do with the whole thing is going around. So basically they are evacuating every night from place to another just to survive. And sometimes they will not be lucky. They would be bombed at the place that they moved in, and they think that it's safe. So yeah, even if it's late, still it's a good decision. Yeah, thank you.
And just one remark regarding the logistics, and as our fellows mentioned that we will leave it to the government. But one example that happened is my uncle, who is a Canadian citizen, was able to flee out of Gaza through a process called the SOS International. So they were sending in emails, and they were the names were put in the border with the Egyptian government. So through that process, they were able to go to the Rafah crossing and were able to flee. So I'm sure if there is a process that happened before, I'm sure things can move forward also in the future.
Do we have more questions?
I just maybe want to make sure we have everyone's names. Israa, we know you, but Ahmed, could you give us your full name and routine?
They're provided in the media pass.
Okay.
Ahmed Zanab.
Anything you wish to add? This concludes the press conference.
Thank you, guys.